check because it won't.
Yeah, you're right.
No
It is
problem.
17th of November. Rabbi First, Mr. Brewer.
All right, thank you, Lou. As mentioned, this is Rabbi Shlomo for series summed up here in Zoom. Currently learning in the Mishna Brewer, focus Natilas Yadayim, and we're in Simon Kuf Summit base. And we left off in Mr. Brewer Sif Cotton Yud Aleph. Let's just, if you see the Ramah, let's just review the Ramah, okay? Mm, that actually, this is the Ramah at this point. Um, I'll summarize up till now. So again, we have to be careful when you're washing your hands, and this is in general speaking about when you're not using a full revis on each hand or a revis on both hands at the same time. So you have to be careful, as the Machaber says, to keep your hands um, lifted up, that the fingertips are held upward, that the water should not drain towards the wrist, and then if the hands were downward, it would be flux back onto the now purified part of the hand and recontaminating with water which is have the tum on it. So therefore, you're supposed to keep your hands upward. And the Mechaber said that this is all talking about Kishein Noto Kol Echad Al Makom Al Chibur Ad Ima Azruya. V'im Noto Ad Sham Ain't Tzorech L'Gvi Yad. If you're not going to, if you're washing until then, if you're washing up until the wrist, right, then you're okay. Yesh Chokim B'Zeh. Others arguing that. Let's take a look there now. Now in the Mr. Brewer on the those who are argue on that point of the Machaber. Yud Aleph in the Mishnah Berura. Rabbi, maybe you'd like to read?
Okay. Yud Aleph. Excuse me. Okay, so Yud Aleph says, Aval im notel, let's see. Aval im notel. Okay. So, but if he washes, okay. Atam katvu le'el. Hold on, I'm sorry, I'm reading the wrong thing. Yesh cholkim bazeh. And the authorities talk about this. V'sfira lehu, the olam tzarich lahagbia yadav. Okay, so it's an opinion that you need to raise the hands. The ayin of Eliyahu Rabbah, and look at Eliyahu Rabbah shekatav ha'ikar the chayesh chokim hazeh. Wrote that what the essence of
The primary halakha is going to be like these Yesh Cholkim, which say you must keep your fingers raised.
have them raised. Okay. Dehudat rove Mefarshim. Okay, and this is the opinion of the majority of the ones who explain it. Okay. Mikol makom sha'at hadchak k'sha'i efshar lo lahakbia. Okay, but nevertheless, in the time of, I guess, an emergency, if it's not possible for him to raise them, yesh lismoch al dea harishona shesatam hamechaber kavata likula. Okay, so what? Yesh smoke. There's support, I guess.
I mean, in this case, that is a way of translating, but here in this case, there's a little bit of a different context. Here it means yesh lismok, there is to rely on.
Oh, there's to rely on. Okay. The first opinion, Shesatam, that is supported by the Mechaber, uh, Kavatala Kula. That's a leniency.
Right. He brought that opinion down stam, meaning generically, he brought it down as a generic conclusive opinion. So therefore, even though there are those that argue on it, it's just the chak. If necessary, you can rely on that opinion.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Ufaresha sha'anu notlim b'revi'it mayim kanal. Okay. So when we pour a revi'it on of water, as discussed, or will be discussed below. Okay. Yud bet is al shtei yadav revi'it on both hands. One pours a revi'it. B'chol shechein im shafak revi'it al kol yadav. Let's see. So, nevertheless, he pours a revi'it. What, on each hand?
Right, meaning you don't have to. This, if you look there back in the Mishokanora, right? The Kaini Shafak. You see where it says in the Macabre just after the Yesh Chokim. Maybe you want to read it. It'd be worthwhile reading it over again. The Kaini Shafak the Revis.
Okay, hold on. Let me just find it again. Right. Yud.
Lo b'shamayim.
V'chein shafach al shtei yadav.
That's right.
Revi'it b'pam achad. Oh, at one time. Oh. Kevan the ein sham mayim tmeim klal ein tzarik l'chakbiya yadav. Okay, at one time, since the ein sham, there's no place for the water to be tame.
Well, it says no. It's not sham. It's on shame. It doesn't have a shame of mime to maim klal. They don't. Meaning you're washing with a revis, so it's as if you're putting the hands into a mikveh. There's no. When you go into a person goes to the mikveh, the water doesn't become tummy, right? Here,
Right,
we can ask a very basic question. We've been learning up until now when you wash your hands the first time on your hands, so those waters that you wash your hands with become tummy, right?
right,
Now, when you go to a mikveh and you toivel in a mikveh, the water doesn't become tummy, right? So why here by the hands does the water become tummy, and here there by the mikveh, the water of the mikveh doesn't become tummy? If the water of the mikveh would become tummy, every time a person would go into the mikveh, you'd have to drain the mikveh and refill it up again with fresh
right.
water.
Huh, correct.
It's not seem to be connected.
Printer is not connected.
Yes.
One second. So you want to do
Okay.
something here? So when you're washing your hands, when you're washing your hands, so if you are washing with more than a revis on both hands or one revis on both hands at the same time, right? So that's the
Right,
Mechaber saying, shamed mime to maim klal, right? You're not having a revi the tumor from the hands. Tumor from the hands is not going onto the water that you're washing with because it's a revis. A revis of water is considered like a mikveh. Just like a mikveh, when you go to the mikveh doesn't the water in the mikveh doesn't become tameh.
Mhm.
And so likewise, when you're washing with a revis of water, that water from the cup that's in that cup that you're washing, that water in the cup of a revis, either one revis on both hands at the same time, or a
Uh-huh.
separate revis on each hand separately, that water has a halachic status of a mikveh, right?
Right.
So therefore, there's going to be no tuma on this, no shame, as the Macabre says, there's no shame tuma on that water.
Uh-huh. Okay, very good. Let's see, Yud Gimel, Bahama Chat. It's all done at once. Ve'ech yitzuyar zeh ayin lekama. Okay, so I guess how it's done, it's explained in Sif Dalet. Okay, and Yud Dalet. The ain. So the ain shamayim tmeim. You said shame. The ain shame mayim tmeim
Wow, there's not a shame of water tamim at all.
at all. Okay. Let's see. Demashechain im shafach revi'it kol yad. That's the Taz. Okay. So what's he say? Dema. What if he pours that? If he pours a revi'it on each hand.
Right. There's another option you have. You can pour a separate revis on each hand. Alternatively,
Okay. So
so
hold.
your first option is to pour a full revis on both hands simultaneously, or you can pour a revis on each hand alternatively.
Okay. Let's see, I think I skipped a line. Shem Shamayim, Shem Mayim. Okay. Demada Amrimam, but Mayim Rishonim Tameim. Okay, so accordingly, they say that the first water is Tamei. Umishum Hachi Sarik Lahagbia Yadav. And then you have to raise, it's required to raise your hands. Hanu davka b'pachot merivi'it b'vat achad kedulima. Okay, I think that's now I'm back on track. That's where we were before. Okay,
Right.
so you have to put a revi'it. Okay. Still have time. Good. Tet vav v'chein ha matbil yadav. Okay. So and so we um, dip, immerse his hands. Okay. Gam kain mitam hanal the ein kan mayim tmeim. Okay, so what's this? It's if
Right. This would be another option if you're going to be toivel. You're not being noitel yadayim as you're washing your hands. Tefillas yadayim as you're putting your hands into an actual mikveh.
right. Okay. Okay, so here there is no tame water. Okay, good. Tet Zayin v'chein nahagula hakel, and it's our custom to be lenient. Okay, v'yoter nacholin hog im yesh lo mayim. If yoter nachon, and it's correct, lin hog,
But
the
even
custom, if there is water,
It's more correct to be accustomed to do this if you do happen to have that water. If you have enough water, you should definitely do what you do, like you just said. Use more than
Right.
revis, which you normally
Right.
do.
Shiyatil Ravid, right. Arcane Yad, the Yad, and pour Ravid on each hand. Or, oh, Yoter Sheyavo Mayim Aleichem Bishvi. What's that? So that the water comes on them Bishvi. Bishvi v'kana'ah b'siman. I guess as explained in Siman Kufnan Chet.
Right.
Mimela, yeah, Mimela lo yitztarech l'datdek b'chagbahatam k'midah. Okay, and you don't have to be
You don't have to be so didactic. You don't have to be so
so strict
scrupulous
about lifting them, I guess.
or exacting about lifting. You have to be. You don't be so exacting about lifting them.
Right, the canal, the chain, mukach mechaye adam. See, the bracket says the al etza zo digimel pamim pakpikim. Okay, kama achronim. Okay, and so mukach. According to the Chaye Adam, the al etza's advice. This advice. Pouring 3 times, I guess. Nefak Fakim, being strict.
Right. That.
Yes.
Right. That. And Medina Kinza. Kein muchach mimar chayadam. Al etzazud the gimel pamim mefatavim hamakronim. Because this the other option you have about washing your hands 3 times. There are mefapichim. There are many of the achronim that are questioning this advice.
Aha. Okay.
Better,
Good.
so in general, just as a summary, the way we wash our hands, which is usually with more than a revis, and you're putting more than a revis on each hand, so you don't have to be careful about keeping your fingers lifted up and about the water coming back and being recontaminating the hands. But it's good that what you should be doing is making sure that the water goes all over throughout the whole of the hand. That we'll discuss this maybe a little bit more tomorrow, that the water should be able to reach all the cracks and crevices of the hands, and the hands should be held out in a way that water penetrates not the skin, but it is covering the whole area of the hand. Okay, good.
Very good. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor, for the reading. Thank you, Lou, for your reading in the first year, and I appreciate you both, and hope to see you tomorrow.
Okay. Yes, Hashem.
Kayak Mayor.
Thank you.
Shalom, bye.
Okay.
Bye.